Okay, please like this video, subscribe to this channel, and make a comment. This isn't exactly comedy, but I'll just do a very quick discussion. I've been living in Florida for pushing 20 years at this point. I consider it my home now, but I grew up in New York and I spent, most of my, life until I became an adult living in New York, so I lived there for many, many years also. So this will be a very quick pros and cons of New York versus Florida. And the way I'll structure it is I suppose I'll start with Florida. I'll give some pros and cons, or some good things and not so great things, and then I'll move on to New York and do exactly the same. Florida. The first pro is the weather. You can't beat the weather during the winter season and towards the beginning of spring. I remember growing up in New York and all the snow and sleet and rain and hail, it stunk. I didn't like it. The weather in Florida is better. The second is the shopping. Shopping in New York was terrible. Kings Plaza Mall was terrible. We had to actually go to Long Island to the Tanga 1, Tanga 2, and Tanga 3 outlets. Shopping in New York is fabulous. West Palm Beach outlets, Sawgrass Mall, the Vero Beach outlets I'd like to go to at some point. It's fantastic. Just fantastic. I remember going shopping at the West Palm Beach outlets about a year and a half ago. I got everything I needed, and the prices were, it's an outlet, so it's a little bit cheaper. Actually, it's, pretty good cheaper than most places. So the shopping in Florida is way superior. And I would say, making this up from the top of my head, the third thing is the real estate. The apartment that I live in, I think is pretty nice. If I lived in the same apartment in New York, it would probably be about $500 a month more. So the real estate is better. And a couple of things about Florida that aren't so great. The first is the driving. It's all mixed up. There's a lot of senior citizens that drive slow. There's a couple of renegade younger people that drive fast. There's a lot of potholes. And the worst thing is the lights. These red lights take forever. Some of these red lights could take up to 5 or 6 minutes. You go to a red light, you could probably send 3 emails, send 7 text messages, take a phone call for about a minute, and very quickly go on Facebook for about a minute, and you'll have plenty of time left. So when you get to a red light, put your car in park, lay back and relax, because you're going to be there for a while. The next thing that's not so great, it's also a con, is the weather. The weather in the summer is hot, though this summer it wasn't as bad. But the thing that I don't like is it seems to rain every weekend. Sometimes it even seems to rain every day. Too much rain is not the best. And another thing that's not so great, I just feel as if they value the educational system more up north, more in New York or the central area. Education is more valued. Me personally, I don't care. It doesn't really mean that much to me specifically, but it's maybe a little bit more valued up north, and that was just off the top of my head. So now let's move on to New York. The things that are great, first, in a funny way, it's actually the weather, but different time. In autumn, nothing beats the changing seasons. Nothing beats the changing leaves. So, even though it's pretty cold, it's pretty like a winter, if it works out correctly, like a winter wonderland in December is awesome, and the springtime could be really good too. So the weather could be good, so there's some pros and cons there. The second thing is I still have a lot of family up in New York and a lot of friends. I don't see them as often as I'd like. I haven't been to New York in many years. I don't plan to go back for a long time, if ever again. But it is nice to have family there that I could spend time with and connect with, and that's where they are. And the third thing is it's possible, even though COVID, forgetting about COVID, it's possible that there might be, better Wall Street jobs and things like that in New York. Maybe. It depends. And a couple of things that I didn't like about New York is the weather. Again, I'm talking January and February. It is so damn cold. It's unbelievable. I don't think I'd ever want to be living there January and February. I remember when I went to St. Edmunds how friggin' cold it was going there. It was absolutely terrible. The next thing is the shopping. As I said before, the shopping is absolutely terrible there. Kings Plaza is a poor man's excuse for a West Palm Beach outlet. It is absolutely terrible there in regards to shopping. I don't really care for it. And another thing is, and I've only heard about this from people, so I'll just throw it in there. From what I could gather, it seems like the town that we came from, Marine Park, has had a lot of seedy or undesirable people come in. And in addition to that, this is kind of, I mean, it's not really a mixed salad or a melting pot of people. It's all, I mean, from when I left many years ago, it was all kind of the same people from the same backgrounds and the same culture, which there's nothing wrong with that, but I think it's better to have like a mixed background or a mixed group of people so you could learn about other cultures or how other people conduct themselves. So, I mean, pros and cons. I really do consider Florida my home now. I think that my parents and my immediate family have more of a kinship with New York. I mean, I still love it and everything, but I can't remember the last time I go back. I guess if you ever want to see me again, come and visit me. All right, goodbye.